What's up, Canes fans? Peter Ariz here, bringing you another edition of the CanesInSight podcast. And we are keeping it rolling with the 2025 prospect interviews. Today, Ziyare Addison, offensive lineman out of Sumner High School in Riverview, Florida, joins Brad Tejeda and I. Very excited about the potential of this guy as a prospect. Very athletic, plays both sides of the ball, which we talk about in the interview. Is proud of his multi-sport background as a track athlete, as a runner in the 100 and the 200 meter, as a basketball player as well. So very intriguing as an athlete and as a prospect who's only just scratching the surface as an offensive lineman here, and has a ton of suitors. We'll see, as he's been to Miami a few times here. He's going to be heading out to these official visits over the spring now, and I know he's excited about that. So we get into all of that with Ziyare Addison. But before that, just wanted to remind you guys that this episode, as always, is brought to you by Closure Investigative Agency, a private investigative firm based here in South Florida. Is your ex-partner failing to pay child support? You deserve better. Let Closure Investigative Agency help you. Let's go get your money. Background checks, cheating spouses, corporate investigations, insurance investigations, legal investigations, employee theft investigations, domestic services, missing persons, and surveillance services. Closure Investigative Agency. Contact them at 561-437-6080 or ciagency.net. 5-star Google rated. All of the state of Florida is covered. Again, Closure Investigative Agency. Go check out their services. And coming up next here on the CanesInSight podcast, Ziyare Addison, offensive lineman for the 2025 class. All right, college football fans and Canes fans across the country, excited to be joined now by our next guest, Ziyare Addison, offensive lineman out of Sumner High, out there in Riverview, Florida, a guy who's very high on Miami's board for offensive linemen this year and has a ton of offers from across the country. So excited to get to know Zier a little bit tonight and talk about his recruiting process a little bit. We'll pull up his film as we always do with our guests on this show. But Ziyare Addison, appreciate you joining the show tonight, man. How you doing?
I appreciate y'all for having me. I'm doing well. You know me. I'm blessed and highly favored. How y'all doing?
Doing great, bro. Doing great.
Doing great, man. Now, you talk about how blessed you are and this recruiting process. Obviously, there's a lot of challenges that come up. I know you were talking to a coach before we got on this interview here, so your line's blowing up, man. You're probably a lot busier than you were a year ago at this time. So just talk to us a little bit about how everything's come at you and starting these visits process and getting to know these coaches a little bit. Like, how have you handled everything coming as fast as it has for you?
So I took it with, I don't want to say with a grain of salt. I knew everything was coming and coming my way, but I really took all the hype and stuff with a grain of salt. My parents on me. I know my dad's really big on me every day. Still got a lot of stuff to work on, even with you blowing up. It's still stuff you can work on in the run game, the pass game. You still ways for you to become a better player. So I take it with a grain of salt. I enjoy the process for sure, no question. But there's still a lot of stuff I need to work on. Yeah.
And we'll get to your film. We'll bring it up and we'll kind of break down your game a little bit. But early on for you in this recruiting process, and I'm not going to say early on because you're already about to start these official visits soon, so you're getting into the thick of things here. But what have you learned about the recruiting process that maybe before you really started having these heavy communications with coaches, you didn't necessarily understand or didn't know about the process?
Just learned that you got to be really patient with the process. At first, I didn't really understand it. I thought I understand. My phone wasn't blowing up or nothing like that, but that was just because I was an underclassman. Now, it really is getting to the thick of things with the OBs, kids committing, and all that type of stuff. So I'm really getting a lot of love and a lot of treatment that I feel like I deserve and worked hard for.
Now, Zier, man, you've been working hard for quite a while. In fact, your first offer was by Florida State, and it was probably I think your first 3 months ever transitioning from the defensive side of the ball to the offensive line side of the ball. You got your first ever offer by Florida State, And obviously now going up to this point, you got big offers from everywhere. But one thing you also learned pretty early in the process, Zier, is the best ability is availability. And in order to be available, you got to be versatile when it comes to the offensive line. And as we know with Alex Mirabal, you got to be able to play all 5 positions. And you know that very comfortably. You being a guy that has played all 5 positions, playing tackle, playing guard, playing center, talk a little bit about from your standpoint of how you're able to transition from one position to the next and how that elevates your game from not only on the field but off the field to kind of give you leverage going into these, visits with certain coaches and schools.
So like with me, I know I bring a lot of upside to the table with just my athleticism alone and getting bigger, faster, and stronger. Like what I told y'all a year ago that I was gonna get bigger, faster, and stronger, and really keying on the weight room and all that type of stuff is really keying in. And me training all 5 and playing all 5 is just making me a more valuable player and making me feel like one of the better, not the best player in the country, having that athleticism and versatility and the length to be able to still play tackle on the outside.
Now, you also got some guys in your corner that have helped you transition into the offensive line game. One of them is our very own Tyrese St. Louis. Talk about former Miami Hurricanes, someone that has kind of helped you along the side of bringing your game to the next level. Talk about a little bit of what Coach Tyrese St. Louis has helped you go to the next level and what he does for you.
So it's him and Coach Ray. Shout out to Raymond McNeil at the Church Academy as well. And those two was really key on my development. They really just taught me to be patient and taught me to really be an offensive lineman. My freshman, if you watch my tape, you can see massive improvements in my from my sophomore year to the junior year tape. It's not just displaying my athleticism, but showing me being versatile and being a true offensive lineman. I feel like they really taught me how to be a true offensive lineman from the past sets. Just being more patient, using your length, and just being more dominant in the run game.
Zier, one thing. Sorry, Brad. One thing I noticed in these first few clips here, as we're seeing you at the offensive tackle position, is your hands, right, and how violent the use of your hands are. Does that come from your experience as a defensive lineman? I mean, talk about that. Does it come from the coaching that you're getting? Is it natural? Because obviously the athleticism, we see it, but you don't see a young offensive lineman with as active hands as we're seeing right now normally.
So I feel like the hands that just came from the weight room, just getting stronger in the weight room. My hands got naturally stronger just by lifting and just being in the weight room, just keying in on that.
Zier, usually when it comes to high school football, a lot of the young men that we interview, especially in any college, they're wanting guys that are dual athletes, guys that play multiple sports. You being as athletic as you are on the offensive line, being able to play all positions, you would think someone like yourself, you're playing all of these different sports to keep yourself as athletic as you are. If you are playing any other sports, tell me what they are. And if you aren't, tell me what you do in your free time to keep your athleticism the way it is.
So what I wrestle and I run track. I wrestled and I ran track starting my sophomore year. My junior year, I wrestled. I didn't finish out the season, but when I was wrestling, I went 7-2. Wrestling on that really helped me keying in my athleticism. Staying lean, staying in shape, and be able to be flexible and be mobile. And then I'm finna start running track next week. I run a 200. If I haven't told you already, I run a 200, 100 meter in track. That really does help me stay athletic and even get faster.
How hard has it been for you to keep that speed as you've naturally put this weight on, man? I mean,
I feel like it hasn't been hard for me. I let the weight come natural. I didn't just go crazy. I've just let the weight come natural and just keying on the weight room. Like if you put it on the right way, you shouldn't lose athleticism. If anything, you should get faster and more.
What are you weighing? What are you weighing right now?
280, 285.
And listen, I'll pull it up here in a second, but a couple days ago, you also posted a video of yourself dunking. Is that? I mean, is basketball in your background? I mean, if it is, because I always ask the big guys what the scouting report is. I know you guys can rebound. I know you guys can, make some nice layups around the hoop and finish. But give me the scouting report, man. I need the Ziyare Addison on court scouting report.
So it's funny. Before before I came to high school, I played AAU basketball in 8th grade, and played AAU basketball in 8th grade. My mom, she played basketball. My dad, he also was a hooper as well. Both of them played college ball. So and I think that's where the length come from as well.
Liz, Zier drink.
Yeah, the
Ooh,
athleticism
yeah.
was still there.
There you go. You palm it. I see you palming the ball. Nice. And I mean, listen, I feel like in the post, you're definitely a problem too.
Hell
My
yeah.
guy, my
Hell
guy,
yeah.
my guy's in the my guy's in the slides with the car key still halfway.
Oh yeah, and I was one to be one of my teams. I'm like, this shit was a basketball. I chose to play football. I'm an athlete. Hey, I was hooping. I feeling myself a little bit, and
Right.
Well, I tell you what.
I dunked the ball. I dunked it in Crocs too. I got to get props for that too. I dunked it.
Yeah, Brad said it. I didn't even peep that. So that's
And not to mention one thing you got to peep, Pete. I don't know if you noticed, but that wingspan, those arms. I know. I heard in a recent interview. Well, you got 37-inch arm wingspan. Is that correct?
37 and a half.
37 and I mean that's ridiculous, right? I mean, besides the arm length, another thing, Zier, that helps you throughout this recruiting process has got to be your mom and just the plan and the process that goes in with everything. I know you kind of have this process that goes in place with any school you talk to, that you like to write things down, right? You have a plan with everything. Talk a little bit about some of the keys that you look for in every school and what Miami in particular has to offer to you and what stands out for Miami.
So what stands out with Miami is how much love they've been giving me ever since they started recruiting me. Those two schools, that was the school that was able to keep it real with me as well, telling me what I need to work on. I have a great relationship with Mirabal, Crystal Ball. I talk to Mirabal like almost every day. Um, I just have a really good relationship with all the coaches and the staff. Like I'll tell you a story. I was up there with California Power. Everybody was taking pictures. I was like, "Come, Mirabal, can we come watch the tape?" I didn't really take no pictures. So I was watching tape with him. He was breaking down all the plays to me, how I was approached our offense, and how I'm able to do a fit in the offense, and it was a great deal getting back up there.
Now, Zier, you talked about certain schools, right? When you talk to their coaches, you were able to, the transparency was very clear. You were able to see the plan they had in place, and you were able to visualize yourself in it, and you understood right away what the process was. But with a school like Miami, you kind of learned a lot through the process, especially with a guy like Alex Mirabal, the techniques and the fundamentally sound, how he likes to teach things. Talk about the difference between the two and how you think someone like Miami has brought the forefront to the table to make you realize a lot of things going into this recruitment.
So like, well, the thing was with Miami, they're good and they're young. So like, I know a lot of people began saying Crystal Ball's on the hot seat. They're gonna be just fine, especially with Christian Ward. I mean, I don't know. Did I say his name?
Cam Ward.
Cam Ward. That's Christian Ward. I'm gonna say Cam Ward. They're gonna be just fine, especially with that quarterback. There should be no question why they should win 10 games. Their O line really young. They got a really good tackle in Francis. I think they're gonna be just fine. It takes time to develop a team and to be a really good program. For example, take Florida State for example. They've been good for the last 2 years, but they wasn't good for the last 3 years. It took them. They got better and better and better. Then year 4, boom, 10 plus games, boom, undefeated season. Like it just takes time with this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that.
Zier, I gotta take it back real quick. You said you're an old school recruit, man. You didn't want to do the photo shoot like everyone else. You're a no photo shoot guy, huh?
I took too many pictures.
You were done with that. Well, listen, you're getting into, as we already said, the really meat and potatoes part of your recruiting process here is you have your official visits set. So let's look forward to those a little bit. Which visits you have set? I know you've mentioned them recently in some other interviews, but for the people watching this show right now, just talk about the visits that you have ahead of you.
So the visits that I have lined up now is Florida State, Clemson, and Oregon, and locked in right now. So I'm just looking to see who could find that spot in for that 4th spot in June. I'm gonna take some more of these, but those are some of the schools I have locked in right now.
And how many times? I mean, how many times have you been to Miami in the past year or so? Would you say?
Say like 3 times, twice or 3 times.
So, and what would you say you're looking for in these officials? I mean, obviously, you haven't been to all the. I'm assuming you haven't been to all these other schools. So, what is it that when you get there, you're really
Like visualizing myself at the school, can I visualize and see my myself in that program? How can I fit in the program? How can I fit in the offense? What is the scheme? Is it coaching stability? Is it coach? Do you think the coach is going there anywhere? Is the coach on the hot seat? Um, make sure my family on board with the program, of course. Is they competing? Is there a school that's competing for the national championship? Is it a school that I'm just like looking at the schools that just checking all of my boxes, really.
Okay, now Zaire, obviously with this recruitment stuff and obviously football, I mean, you believe Brett sweat tears, man, is all football, but you always got to have a backup plan, right? You're one of the few recruits that understand it's not a 4-year decision, it's a 40-year decision.
40-year
Right?
decision, right?
Any time with football though, there's got to be that fallback or backup plan, whether it's a major you're going to school or just things that you like. I know you like anime, but besides anime, what are some other things that you enjoy, man, other besides the game of football?
Enjoy hanging out with my sister and just hanging around my family for sure. Those things.
Family man, as you know,
Yeah.
Mario Cristobal and the staff is all about family, right?
Mhm.
We talk about a little bit about the backup plan, but one thing about you like to talk about yourself, about being the most talented, most athletic offensive lineman in the country. Tell me why.
I believe. I mean, you saw me dunk basketball. I mean, like, it's not too many linemen that's doing what I'm doing. Like, how many linemen that are is wrestle and running the 200, 100 meter in track that could dunk a basketball and play 1 through 5. It's not too many linemen in the country that's doing what I'm doing. That's why I feel like I'm the best player in the country.
All right, and I got a better question for you. This one's gonna tell me all the answers right here. I ask every recruit on this show the same question. Give me your definition of the word dog.
You the most dominant player on the field. That's what a dog is. Simply, you don't take no plays off. You're a dog. You
And tell
doing that at every position. You're doing
tell the
that at
Cane
every position.
tell the Cane fans that are tuned in right now why Ziyare Addison, every time he's on that field, why he is the dog.
Like I said, I'm the best player, and I believe I'm the best player in the country. There's not too many linemen in the country that's doing what I'm doing. How many linemen that you can name that wrestle, run track, that could dunk a basketball, that could play 1 through 5? There's not too many linemen that can do it like me. And my tape speaks for itself.
Hey, I love it, man. And Alex Mirabal, as we know as Cane fans, man, we love offensive linemen that could stretch the tackle, the guard, the center spot. We give a lot of praise to Jalen Rivers, who's on our team, that could be at the next level better at a guard position, but this past season played the tackle spot and did phenomenal. Could also play the center spot. So we need guys like yourself, man. So I hope Miami is in the future for you. Pete, what you
Oh,
got?
for sure. For sure.
Zaire,
For sure.
my other question, my last question here before we let you go, in terms of your technique, right? You're only scratching the surface. We keep talking about the athleticism, but for you, where do you feel like the next step for your development as an offensive lineman is, knowing that there's a lot more to the position than just being bigger, faster, stronger than the guy across from you?
I feel like for sure is just playing the position more. Like I've only been playing the position for a year and a half now. So I feel like the more I play the more I play the position, and the more games I play, the better I'll get. Like over time, throughout the season, the stronger I get. So just playing the position more, and just keep doing what I'm doing, and just keep trusting God and trusting the process. I'll be where I want to be.
Ziyare Addison, you have a very bright future in front of you. The best is yet to come for you, and best of luck for you in the rest of your recruiting process here.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a blessed one. Thank you for having me.